going to share some stories that I've never shared before tonight. My name is Ross Cooper, and I'm a third-generation Seventh-day Adventist pastor's kid of the X variety. I was born into an Adventist family in July of 1976, and I thought my upbringing was normal. I grew up in the United Kingdom and was quite literally born across the street from Sherwood Forest. Every Sabbath, I got dressed up in more and more awesome clothes. And as I grew, my understanding grew. Although I could never believe that as an SDA, I had a lot on the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. In fact, to be entirely on point, looking back now, I've come to realize that as a part of my life attitude, I never fully bought into the claims of Adventism. That was lucky in a way, but it left me with a spiritual void. And as I grew, I realized that in all truth, my religiosity was just an empty shell. We moved to Loma Linda in 1980 and experienced our first wet Christmas. We had to travel into the mountains for snow. What's up there? My mom attended the School of Nursing and worked at Loma Linda University Medical Center. And my dad became assistant pastor for a short time at Campus Hill, and then at Mentone. All my friends were at church, and all of my biblical understanding and teaching I got from my family, other Adventist pastors, and my extended family. I got used to such things as really hot summers and the occasional earthquake, but I was dead spiritually. And it would take a spiritual event to open my eyes to the power of the underlying principalities and powers. Such an event happened in the summer of 1986. That evening I was studying the 23rd Psalm, mainly because it was famous, but also because I really loved that song. I don't know how to explain what happened that night, other than that the Lord let me see the spirits and principalities behind this world, specifically the allies and minions of Lucifer. I was put in a life or death situation. A situation where my Adventist generation number, third generation number, meant nothing. Neither did me being a pastor's kid. When my room turned into a cave of flames and fire and the demon tried to throttle life out of me, the only thing that mattered was this: who would I choose to serve? That night when the demon tried to choke me into unconsciousness and I had no breath to breathe, let alone call out for help, I called out to the Lord in my soul. And when I gave up fighting for myself and closed my eyes, the red flames dancing on my eyelids were invaded with a pinprick of light, pure white light, and I heard the voice of God, the only one who can save, calling out to me, "Take my hand. If you trust in me, I will never let you out of my hand." And in my mind's eye, I saw his hand reaching out to me, and my hand reached out and grabbed his, and right then and there I was yanked into a bright white light, into peace, and I knew that I was a child of God. I was born again according to the Bible, and I would never be lost out of his hand. I was safe and secure, while Adventism taught otherwise. I didn't know this at the time, but that's a sign of cultic influence, if not outright statement of cultism. Yet this was still a few years before I even began to seriously think about getting out of Adventism. In 1988, my dad got a letter from the European Union of Seventh-day Adventists asking him to go and be a pastor in Northern Ireland. So we went, and we all lost our friends again. Such was the life of a PK and a missionary. The only anchor I had was in God, and I had no concept of how secure my anchor was. My understanding was in direct conflict with my feelings. My feelings told me I could trust what God had told me. Adventism taught me that nothing was sure. My salvation was up in the air, and what if I was in sin when my name came up in the IJ? I made new friends and got used to life in the troubles of Northern Ireland. Every Saturday night, the bomb squad would drive past the church, do a controlled detonation of an IRA explosive device, and drive right back the other direction. 1 year before moving back to the U.S., the last year my dad would be a pastor for the Adventist church. from Northern Ireland, I had a second glimpse into the spiritual world. We went to a county fair, all 5 of us, and we chose, strangely, to eat at the food court. That never happened. Since we're vegetarian, what could we get there? But, this fair had everything from exotic cars to cows, combine harvesters to chickens. The chickens are the most important part. If it wasn't for the chickens, I wouldn't even be talking to you right now. You see, as we walked towards the food court, God told me, in no uncertain terms, that we had to go in and see the chickens. And so we did, all 5 of us. 30 seconds later, an IRA bomb blew up the food court. And as the debris flew through the chicken hangar, it bounced off the wings of angels that were encamped round about us, and God allowed me to see the outline of their wings. These events changed my life. My dad was canned in 1990 for preaching too much grace. It should come as absolutely no surprise to you that my father is the one who encouraged me to follow the Holy Spirit's leading out of baptism. He still encourages me to this day. I know that my father is born again, just as I'm certain that the rest of my family is still in grave danger. I finally understood that my life was not my own, for I was bought on the cross. This understanding came last year. And now I'm sold out for the Lord. My 2 blogs are a testament to the faith that God has placed in me to share His gospel and live and love the lost, and point out the dangers of false teachings of Adventism to Adventists and evangelicals alike. I'm glad I'm not doing the holding, and I'm glad I'm not doing the keeping. I am glad that I am simply resting. People ask me how I'm able to live the way I do. How can I have such faith? How can I go from the security of Adventism and having a roof over my head and a family who loves me to sleeping on a Christian brother's living room floor, on a thermarest, and sleeping in the sleeping bag? It is because I know that I am safe and secure in God's hands. And I know that He will provide for all of my needs. And I am part of a better family. A family that understands me. The family of God. I'm proud to be a girly man, I'm a part of the bride of Christ. And there's nowhere I'd rather be. To find out more about my testimony, you'll find it in here. Thank you.